Hello there, I'm colouring this image today, which I bought on Etsy from Pretty Principles ZA, and I'm just going to show you how I do the hair. I'm using three different Copic pens. They're both all Copic Chows. It's E35, E33 and Y21. So I'll be using those. I printed the image at home on some HP Color Choice 160 GSM paper. I have found that when coloring blonde hair, often the yellows and the soft beiges don't have enough depth to create a strong enough kind of cast shadow or to show distance or anything. So it's sometimes useful to use a slightly darker color, and that's why I've chosen to use this E35 to kind of break down the sections and show the direction of the hair growth. So I'm using quite thick lines to divide the hair into sections, and I'm using a sort of a flicking motion, and I want to show some highlights on the curved parts of the hair. So sometimes, like if you're coloring in a Hannah Lynn picture, it's easier because she has more lines. This particular image doesn't have a lot of lines, but I am just creating them myself with the Copic. I never quite know whether to call it a Copic or a Copic. To me, Cope would have an E, C-O-P-E, and C-O-P is cop, but I've heard people pronouncing them in both ways, so I'm not sure which is the correct way to pronounce it. I do find this particular paper is very nice for using markers on. It's quite a shiny, I think it's for printing color images and even for photographs perhaps, but it's nice because it seems to have a coating on it, and that allows me to blend with the markers, with the alcohol markers. I wouldn't use this for water-based markers at all. I'm going to be filming this in real time so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to put on a little bit of music, and I'll come back to you to explain the next step when I get to it. I've zoomed in a little bit now for you, and I'm moving on to the E33 pen. I tried to create some shape to the hair, and I'm going to basically, with the E33, I go over what I've already colored with the E35 and I extend it out further, so still leaving gaps for highlights. And then I go over the entire process again later to make it all look bolder and to stand out more. But when you're using an alcohol marker, whether it's an Ohuhu or a Sharpie or a Copic, if you're on the right kind of paper, this is the way to blend, is by going over. You start with the darker, you go over that and you extend it out, and the alcohol that you're using sort of dilutes the pigment that is already on there, so it helps it to blend and fade into the next color. I don't know if that makes sense to you. And when one's doing blonde, I always think of blonde as yellow, but blonde is not yellow. Blonde is very much got browns in it as well. Sometimes it's got strands of red, and sometimes it's got strands of almost white. And I went over the top like this, and then I had a look at it and I decided I wanted to show more of a parting and a way of how the hair would go. So you'll see what I do later. But so I'm going over all the areas that I've already done and only leaving small gaps now for the paler color. So I hope that makes sense to you. I'm sure many of you know how to do this already, but I know there are a number of new colorists joining the fold, as it were, and you can see on the sunflower that the orange and yellow have blended very nicely, and it's usually good to use 3 colors, a dark, medium, and light, in the color family that you're wanting to create a blend from. I'm not saying that you have to blend everything you color. I block colored the rest of the image. Now I'm onto the lightest color, which is my highlight, which is Y21, and that is Buttercup Yellow. So you can see that's much lighter. The others have got a brown undertone to them, and this is yellow. But I'm still going over part of the dark color and moving it out so that it's not a harsh line. I go over the whole head like this, and I'm going to put some more music on for you. So I'm finishing up with this palest yellow color now, and then I'm going to show you how I go over everything again and create some definition in the hair. Not a lot, because it's not a realistic image at all. It's a fantastical chibi type image, but I just wanted a little bit more definition in the image. And you can see how the darker, when one puts the darker shade at the back of a line, it creates the effect of the hair creating shadows. So now I'm going in once again with this very dark E35, and I'm creating a parting for her, and then I want to make the shape of the hair going down the first little curl, or I'm not quite sure what to call that little part of the hair. So I've created a parting for her. I could have made the hair going all back if I wanted to, but I thought, seeing it seems to be falling down the sides of her face, so it just helps with the second. I find once it's in color, and I don't know if this is unique to me, because I sometimes have difficulty seeing what things are in a line art image. So once I've colored it in, I can get a better view of what I needed to do, and so I'm repeating the process. So I'm going to speed up this next part and put a little bit of music on for you, just so that you can see how it ends up. I had quite a giggle choosing the music for this last little bit, because it was so quick and jerky. I thought I couldn't do my normal, nice, peaceful, calm music that I put on, so I put something that was kind of rushing along, like my pen was going quickly, speed, speed, speed. So I think she's ended up looking quite cute, and I hope that you've learned something from this video. Please let me know in the comments if you've enjoyed this, and thanks very much for joining me.